Well, the 35th edition of the TotalEnergies CAF Africa Cup of Nations tournament will be hosted by Morocco, and it gets underway on the 21st of December 2025. Guinea were initially set to host the tournament. However, due to inadequate infrastructure, they were stripped of the right to do so. So the 24 nations are expected to fight for the maiden trophy. Bafana Bafana won that tournament back in 1996 after beating Tunisia on home soil. In the recently held AFCON competition in 2023, Hugo Broos managed to get the bronze medal. So that was a big thing. And as we're starting our On the Road to AFCON campaign, we're joined in studio by Janet Whitton, who is a specialist researcher for more on this competition. Janet, great to have you in studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
So here we are. AFCON, we're building up to it, and there's a rich history when we do look at it. So perhaps you want to talk us through this.
There is a very rich history. The start of AFCON kind of coincided with the end of colonialism. So the first tournament was actually held back in 1957. As you mentioned, the tournament is now taking place in Morocco because they have better facilities. It was announced quite a long time ago. They actually, Patrice Motsepe made the announcement in 2022 that Guinea were not going to be hosting and it was going to be handed to Morocco. And you're going to see some fairly spectacular stadia over the next, the 3 weeks of the tournament.
So that's going to be fantastic.
Part of the problem here is the interesting part is the scheduling.
Okay.
Over Christmas, starting 4 days before Christmas.
Exactly.
Which is quite unusual. It was originally scheduled to happen in the June-July regular break, but because of the extension of the Club World Cup, they couldn't actually do it
so
then,
they had to put it over there.
Scheduling
I wonder if there'll be some Christmas games. Who knows? We'll wait and see what that looks like. So tell us a bit of this, because I mean, this is obviously set to be a big competition and tough competition on the way.
It is a tough competition. There are a couple of interesting teams that are missing. I think the most striking team that is missing is Ghana, of course, who've won it a few times, and in fact managed to keep the initial AFCON trophy because they won it 3 times. But their teams being on the slide a little bit. So now we have 6 groups of 4 teams each going into a round of 16. So getting out of the groups is actually not going to be that difficult. The fact that South Africa has been grouped with Egypt, on the face of it, looks a little bit tricky. But the top 2 teams plus a couple of third-place teams will go through to the round of 16. So even if we lose that group game, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for South Africa.
All right. So we've got lots of hope on our side here. So, I mean, Morocco, as we mentioned, were never meant to be hosting this. So they've got a lot of work, 9 stadiums, 6 cities. Talk to us about this.
And remember that Morocco have made a bid for a few World Cups and Olympic Games. So they do have facilities. They have really amazing facilities. I think people are going to be really impressed with the stadiums that they actually see. South Africa are playing their group games in 2 southern cities, Agadir and Fez. A lot of the games will be played in Rabat, Casablanca, the center of Morocco's economic hubs. Lots of experienced officials, including VAR, which South Africans don't always come across because we don't use it very much. 3 South African referees and assistant referees involved here. No South Africans amongst the VAR officials, but there are 3. All of the officials are African, so they all represent various African countries, all of those 73.
Very important to note all of these. They really are. So let's talk technically about our team that we're sending.
Hugo Broos has already announced his 28-man list, and the 28 is 25 players that they can actually take, and then there are 3 players on standby. So this squad, it's a fairly big squad. The 28 players actually only have to be submitted next week. So a lot of the players in the teams that we're going to be playing against, we don't know yet. But Egypt are going to be very tough. Angola can be a tricky team sometimes. You know, they're one of those teams that we should beat every time we play them, but sometimes they become a little bit difficult. Zimbabwe are quite lucky to be at AFCON, to be perfectly honest, and can I say we shouldn't have too much problem beating them?
Shouldn't, wouldn't, couldn't, but who knows? Who knows?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to screen through the rest of these. So talk us through this team.
There are a couple of names in the team that are worth mentioning. Obviously, the youngsters, Tylan Smith, Chandra Campbell, both under 20 players. I don't think we're going to see much of them, to be perfectly honest. If we do see them at all, they'll be coming on late in the game. I think they're there for experience and for the future, because this is something Hugo Broos has concentrated on, is looking for the future. Only 9 of these players were at the last AFCON, so he's made a lot of changes, brought a lot of players through, which is quite important. Big names missing, the likes of Percy Tau, the likes of Zwane, who's not there, Themba Zwane. Not that much of a surprise. He's been injured, so it was a tough call, but I think it was a call possibly that had to be made. He hasn't had much match practice lately.
All right, so these are the guys that are going to represent us. And yeah, I mean, this is a history of the competition, and we're hoping, my goodness, we're hoping we can get that cup.
We are hoping. First in 1996, second in the next one, third in the next one, and then it was a disaster for a long time. I'm hoping that at the very least it goes. We were third in the last one. At the very least, a final this time.
Oh,
we've got to come back up again.
Janet, we hope so. I'm looking forward to a conversation in the next hour. That's where Sakina is going to be joined by our legends of the game. So they're going to really get into the nitty-gritty about the performance, the team, the weak spots, the strong spots, and our chances of bringing this one home. So, Janet, thank you. Thanks for giving us an update and just talking to us about the history of AFCON, where we are right now, and what that team looks like.